Hi and welcome back. In this video, we're going to look at using the requests library to download page content so that we can then parse it with Beautiful Soup. The first thing to do is, once again, we're going to install a library. Let's go over to our preferences, which remember on a Mac is under PyCharm Community Edition and Preferences. On Windows, I believe it's under File, and it should be down there somewhere. Let's go to your preferences and once again find the project section here and then go into the project interpreter, press the plus icon down here and find the requests library. You can see that I've already got it installed, but if you don't have it installed yet, just press install. Okay, I've got it here, so I'm going to press install actually to just update it. Update it to the latest version, and that should be fine. Okay, now when we've got it installed, we can use the requests library from within our Python code. So let's create a new Python file that I'm going to call scrapingbooks.py. And here we're going to do import requests. Okay. We're also going to do from BS4 import Beautiful Soup. Now, if you want to find out the page contents and download the pages in Python, all you'll ever have to do is do something like this. Page equals requests.get, and then as a string, you must put the page that you want to load. So that's, for example, http://www.example.com, and then print page.content. So example.com is a sample site that you can also use just to test things out. And what's happening here is we're asking the requests module, and we're calling the get function within that module. Okay, the get function does some HTTP transactions in the background, some HTTP requests. It's a bit more technical than we're going to go into in this course, but essentially it goes and asks the server that is where the website is stored for the page, and then the server can decide to respond with the page content, or it can decide to respond with something else. The server can basically decide what to do when this happens, when we ask it, and hopefully it will respond with the page content. That's what normally happens. Once we've got that, we receive the page content and also a couple more small bits of information like a status code which tells us whether there was an error or not, and a few more things. The other things are not terribly important. The content is what we're most interested in. So the requests module converts that response that comes from the server that's in a sort of complex format, converts it into an object in Python that we can then access the content property of. So let's run this file and see what happens. As you can see, we get a string here. It's a pretty long string because the contents get downloaded all into a single line. But you can see that there's a p tag in here. This domain is established to be used for the illustrative examples in documents. So this is what we're doing. So this is what the example.com website looks like. It's got a h1 tag, a p tag, and some more information, which is a link. And if you right-click it and inspect it, which is what I've done here, you see that you get the body, which is the main sort of section in HTML. Then there's a div, which is just a block of content. And inside that div, we've got three main tags: the h1 tag, the p tag, which contains the paragraph, and another p tag, which contains an a tag, which is a link. And that has an attribute href, which is the link that it goes to, and the text inside it is more information. So let's go back to PyCharm and we're going to try to parse through this HTML code. But essentially, it'll respond with something like this, the HTML of the page. So if we wanted, we could parse it with Beautiful Soup as well. We could do something like soup equal Beautiful Soup of the page content. And of course, we must give it the HTML parser. And then we can print, for example, soup, print soup.find. There's an h1 on the page. I know this because I've looked at the page before. String, and then we could print this out, and you can see that we get example domain out. all we did here is nothing new. We got the page content. This is new. Then the other things are not new. We created a beautiful soup object. We passed in the page content. That's the HTML content of the page. Given it the HTML parser, because that's what it's going to use to parse through the content and try to understand it. And finally, we found h1 and we've printed as a string. Okay. The new thing here is this get. And all we're doing, you can think of it as getting the page content. What's happening in the background is a bit more technical, as I mentioned earlier. Nothing you should be worrying about. Also, you can of course do everything we did in the last few videos. You can do soup.select1, and then you can give it a different type of locator, like this one, href. And here what we're accessing is the a tag, which is within a p tag, and we're accessing the href attribute of that. So this is going to be a link. We can run this again. This should be square brackets. My bad. And we get now this link here. So this is an example of how you may go about downloading a page and accessing some properties and some tags in it. We're going to look at another example in the coming videos with some more interesting things going on. We're going to look at that bookstore that we saw earlier on, and we're going to start sort of understanding multiple pieces of data at the same time. So with that said, I'll see you on the next video.